Mr. Fitzgerald, Darrell.
How you doing?
Just John.
Yeah, just call me John. First of all, I'd like to apologize for Mr. Giannini, which is a partner of mine, for not being here due to the weather.
Thanks, John.
As you'll see on the proposal that we're just interested in releasing the property there at Greenbank, the fields. It's approximately 30 acres there for agricultural purposes only. And we've watched this property for a long time sitting vacant with no actions being taken on it, so we decided to try to lease it for, like I said, agricultural purposes.
Which part of property is that?
It's right across from the senior citizens.
Where Jacob next?
Right beside of Jacob.
There's 30 acres there. Jacob has 3 acres.
I think so. It was divided, I forget how many years ago. But they've been only a few inquiries about the property since, which never went through for industrial purposes or what have you.
How many acres you thinking, John?
I think there's 30 acres in that front tract, just the field part. There's a tract behind it, which is just all woods, which we wasn't interested in. I think it's 64 acres. But the front part, the fields, was 30, I think right at 30 acres. The map person wasn't in the tax office when we inquired about it yesterday. As far as the acres of the field, it just runs from the road there back to the woods, the white pines there in the back, and up to Jacob Next and down to the I think it's the Church of God there, and the road going into Mr. Sheep's property.
Was this land, was it Development Authority?
County agency.
I know,
Board of Education had it and gave it to
But
the
does
county.
the Development Authority still, do they have any interest in it?
Not until we deed it over to them.
Would you
So
like
they
to?
don't, so they don't have any.
Well, they got a couple parts of it that Jacob Mick has got
The
now.
what I
Development
meant.
Authority owned this property, and when they dissolved, they deeded it over to the County Commission. The County Commission deeded a tract over to Greenbrier Development, Greenbrier, help me out, Economic Development, and that's the portion that was leased to Jacob Mick, and I believe it's 3 acres.
So that's all.
So that's taken care of. Now, the issue with this land is, this land is tied up, totally, completely tied up, and let me see what the language says. I'll have to find it, I didn't mark it for when I looked in these out. But this land is to be used for economic development and industrial use and no other. Absolutely no other. Plus, there is another issue too with this land, that we had those studies done before, and there is a rare grass growing on that property.
Yeah, it's called
It
broom
cannot,
sage.
it cannot be disturbed. It's called some sort of manna grass, and I don't have all that. I didn't know what you wanted to talk about, and I would have pulled some of that, but
They
there
did
is.
archaeological studies. with
Yeah.
the
And it's,
Indian stuff.
there's a rare grass growing on that property that cannot be disturbed.
Yeah, I think it's called broom sage, and it's growing pretty much everywhere around
How
the
could it ever
border.
be used for industrial
For
purposes?
the
You
purposes
can't
of
destroy it.
economic and industrial development and no other.
Well, you can't use it for economic development with that.
The only way,
Grass.
yeah, would have to be for a business, and it could only be in limited areas. I understand there's some wetlands up there,
Right.
and this grass is
My
growing on
question
the
now is
property.
why is the sign still up there? James Carter put up there years ago, and we're sitting here with county property, can't be used even for growing hay. I mean, what,
Or parts of it can even be used for development either.
No,
Not the
but,
wet
there was a study done, and I apologize, I don't have that out, but I have a book here in the file about the studies on that grass, and maybe some archaeological sites on there or something, and it's,
Well, I know there was a question brought up at one time. That what is economic development? And nobody ever did really ever answer that question. I mean, is that industrial business? Is that commercial business? Is that residential business? Is that just a business that you're possibly selling something out of? Regardless of what it is, I mean, what is considered economic development?
That's a development that makes money.
that's right. Whether it be,
So, I mean, what would be the difference if you was growing hay and selling it?
Well,
exactly.
I mean, that was a question I have, and nobody's ever really been able to answer it. Whether
Anything development, as far as to make money, would be economic. I hope it's economical if you're gonna do it.
the best thing I can think of about that deed, we need our attorney to look at it and clarify everything.
Who wrote that deed? The Board of
Walt
Education?
Langford. I think that Walt did that when, see this land, and,
Well, see, I guess that land was
But
originally
it was Board
purchased
of
by the board
Education.
for the school
no,
to be there.
I think that some people up there maybe gave it to the Board of
For
Education.
the school.
Am I right, Norman?
Yeah, Slavens donated
Yeah,
it.
Slavens
Right.
donated it to the Board of Education. They in turn turned it over to the County Commission. The County Commission turned it over to Pocahontas Development. Pocahontas Development, when they dissolved, turned it back over to the County Commission. All this time, we did do some studies out there originally. There's a file in here when those studies were done.
I
And
remember
what
when
they
were
found
digging
up there,
big
I think
ditches
this
up
is
through
in
there.
'96.
Who's,
Well, I remember
paying for
talking
the
about it,
maintenance
but I
on
don't
that
remember.
property?
There's
Who's
no-
paying
there's no maintenance.
taxes
There's
on
no,
it?
well, county property's not taxed.
Okay, so it is county property?
Yeah, the county owns it. It was deeded back to the county commission when the development authority dissolved.
But I would like to see clauses in the deed where you can't use this property. From what I can understand here, you can't use it for nothing.
That's the clauses, I have a copy of the deeds here,
So,
John, that say that it can only be used for economic development.
you mean, you can't use it
Or
for economic
industrial development.
either?
No, I don't think you can use
Well,
very much of it for anything.
Well, some of it, whatever
Just
portion
make
is
it
covered, by this study,
Well,
that includes that
the
grass
first
that's
section
growing up
put in-
there, cannot be disturbed.
Was before they had to do any studies.
Well,
to my
which
knowledge.
portion is that?
It's, again, there's a
See, I
book
think
here.
that's what upgraded all
studies
the
were done.
studies was when he wanted that second track. That's
Yeah.
when everything got rolling.
Because he
for these
wanted a
archaeological-
tract out there where the grass was growing or something
Right.
there, where that swampy
I'm
area
pretty
is,
sure
the
that's where it got
wetlands.
stirred up.
But then again, I mean, mowing the grass, in my opinion, ain't killing the grass.
Well, they've been making hay on it for the past several years.
Even the wet places.
Who's making the hay?
The Grimes has made it for a while. The Grimes boys up there, Mark and Henry, made hay. Now, I'm not sure in the last few years, but they had in the past made hay on it. I'm not sure if that's when the county owned it or the development authority.
County owns it now. We got it from the Development Authority when they dissolved, and I think it was in 2008.
I don't think they're making hay in there now.
I don't think so. I think the other thing I could see growing up there was broom
I think that's that rare grass.
They don't even study my farm.
Yeah.
Rare grass.
The county's owned it since '99. and we got it from the Development Authority in '99. There's 32.20 acres, and then I think there was an additional there, like
60
another acres or some, another acres.
Wooded, the land in
Yeah.
the back. But, there again, I mean, the sign has been up there since James Carpenter put it up, what, 15, 20 years ago? Been a good while. And we were led to believe that this land was still up for lease. And matter of fact, when Jacob tried to lease the rest of it, I don't think these reasons, it was up for lease then. That wasn't the reason that you didn't lease it to Jacob.
Well, I think after that, wasn't the study done after that?
And the study was done in '96, so it's always been in
Okay,
place as
okay.
long as I
I
know.
mean,
Yeah.
You were gonna lease it to Jacob Mick, but other reasons come about that he didn't lease it.
But that was an issue, of concern over being deeded to Greenbrier Valley, I think. Because the county commission would have leased it, or turned it over to Greenbrier Valley, and they would in turn work with Jacob to, and I don't recall why that didn't go through, but that was the issue, was deeding the county property to Greenbrier Valley.
But that wasn't
For
the
purposes
reason
of leasing it.
of bloom sage and wetlands that you
But the
didn't.
portion that Jacob was interested in was like only, gosh, I'm not prepared, 8 or 9 acres or something like that.
6 acres.
And it was along the road there.
I don't think it was very much, was it?
No, it wasn't very much, and it
6
was
acres.
along the road there where it wasn't affected by the wetlands or the grass.
Well, the wetlands I can see down on the right down in the pines there, or facing it. Yeah, there are some swamps down
Yeah,
there
that's the
along the
church.
road down at the church, right in behind the church there, which
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anyway.
At that time, I think too, if my memory serves me right, that there was some concern about what Jake was going to use it for.
Exactly, and it wasn't, I mean, what I'm saying is the reasons never came up because you had the rear grass or wetlands there because of Jake. So, I mean, I don't see why, well, I'm just now wondering what is going to happen to this county property. What can we do with it? What can't we do with it?
Some of them we can't do anything
You know,
with.
that's a question for the attorney.
I
My
think-
guess is that, I mean, you might have to take a court action or something to get these restrictions released. But these are deeded restrictions. They cannot be changed. They're in the deeds.
Well, I think it's very plain and it's deeded for economic development. But I still have the same question, what is considered economic development, what's not, you know?
Well, then what parcel is it deeded? for
It's
that
all, I think
purpose?
the whole place was deeded for economic
Then
development.
why can't we lease it?
One of those restrictions.
Well, there's nothing in the deed about the grass.
That's contradicting itself right now. I mean, if it's economical, it's to be leased out for economical development, then you tell me that you can't lease it at all because of the
Well, I don't think there was, I don't think
Which
there was
is-
anything in there as far as lease either. I think it was originally set up to be either parceled off or sold as a whole for economic development.
I thought maybe a long time ago that it was a thought that maybe the school be put there.
Well, I
The
think
very
that was the
beginning.
original deal.
Yeah.
Would you employ any people there, or just would be for your personal?
In the future, yes. In the future, we try to employ people there, and it would benefit the county a lot more than rare grass does now. I mean, as far as the property itself, instead of just letting it lay there, I mean, we're not asking to give out prize goose here. I mean, it's been laying there forever, and
Well, I guess probably, and I'm sure this is gonna be a question that's gonna fall down the line, is what is the intent? I mean, what is your game plan to do with it?
Well, it's starting out as agricultural purposes, which is going to continue to be an agricultural purposes.
But I mean, is that just straight hay, or is that gonna be plowing and tilling and
It's going to
planting
be
special
plowing,
grass?
tilling. First of all, you're going to have to build the ground up, and that's going to take quite a bit. Fertilizing, flying, I can tell you that right off the bat. But yes, but we've got a farm there on Back Mountain on Guns Road, Dave knows where it's at. And there's not too much tillable ground up there where we're at. But yes, in the future, we hope to employ people there.
That'd be my question. If it's economic development, it has to involve employing a certain amount of people out there. To give people employment. That's what Jacob did with his property. He employs 15 or 16 people. So I can't see, that's what I see, is having
Well, I can see
employment.
that side of it, and then I can also see the side of
What's
self-employment
the 3
of your
acres
family,
there?
you know, I mean.
What's the 3 acres there?
That's what Jacob has.
So that's
That's the
all,
upper
is that
corner.
all he has? There's 3 acres.
And I know at one meeting that was brought up, I thought somebody said it could never be farmed because it's not economic development,
Church is right in
you
here.
know,
And this way.
Well, is Dave's farm up here economic development?
Well,
He makes money off
Well,
of
it is for myself, but I don't employ any other, I don't give anybody else any money for it.
Right.
It's just for self gain, is what I'm saying.
John, I have a couple, studies that were done on that property.
Okay.
And if you want to come in, I'm sorry I cannot allow you to take them out of office and send you a copy I have, but if you want to come in and look at them, or make copies and take them, take them home and
Let
study,
attorney
and
look at
show
this
you
and see
what they
We'll
found
see
on
what
the property
clear
when they did the
restrictions
studies.
are on it.
I mean,
Back then.
if you can get some use out of the land, and maybe an employer or 2 down the line,
Right.
if we're not gonna do anything else, I don't see anything wrong with it, but we've gotta be legal by doing it. All it says is that, about economic development. That's
Or industrial use,
nothing industrial use.
Well,
and no other. So I guess that we haven't yet been able to determine them with Jamie there, what economic development is.
Right.
one person would consider a farm as a business, industrial use, and the next
Well,
person would consider it as a
and
residential
in the
hobby.
future, we're in the process of getting a business license right now. But we want to take soil samples, we want to get this land if we could. And before we got us a business license or anything else, determining on how many acres we could use there. But we made an outline of what we would offer, and I think for farm ground, I think it's a pretty considerable amount of money for rental on a piece of property such as that. And like it says there, it can be terminated. I mean, if you guys don't like the way it's running or whatever, if you got good enough reason, you can terminate the lease. And if we got into it and seen that we couldn't make anything, we can terminate. But I don't see where that anybody in this county is benefiting from that property as an executive. And this would only benefit the property and the community. I mean, we ain't out to put anything up there against the law or to hurt the environment, or this is agricultural use. And if I had the ground at the house, to plan on, I would, but like I said, Dave's been up there, matter of fact, he's leased no property before. They ain't 100 square foot up there you can plow.
Well, I think we're gonna be able to have an attorney look at that deed and see what restrictions actually are there that we can use it for.
And that grass issue. It seems
Right.
to me that that grass issue was spread out over the property.
Maybe you can come in, look,
And you're certainly welcome to look
Look
at
at
them
those.
and make copies to take out if you want to.
but I do think we ought to have an attorney look at that, and maybe they can clarify what economic development is for us, because the deed does state that.
It's my understanding that there might be some parts to that, to an old Indian fort or something there.
War.
Is that what it,
Did they not do some like digging in that
Yeah,
area?
they dug ditches up through there looking for things.
Did they?
I don't know what they found. Do you know, Dave? Yeah, down where Bob Sheets lives, where the fort actually was.
But in my opinion, we'll take a look at it and see where we can go from it. I mean, I don't think that we can move forward right today until we at least get an attorney to look at that deed and clarify what we can and what we can't do with it. Mr. Waller, what do you feel?
Well, I think it would be great if we could put the property into use. But at the same token, I definitely think that we need to go by at least the guidelines in the deed that says economic development. If it is factual that farm and agriculture can be ruled as economic development, then I would feel we would be good to go. If it's ruled in fact it is not economic development, I don't think it's even a possibility. And I'm not real sure who could make that decision, because I've got opinions on it both ways. So I know I even talked to Steve Weir at the Economic Development Authority about it, and he was kind of gray too, you know. I mean,
I don't think we can get a definition.
I guess
Looked
it's
at
maybe
this
one of
a few
them
years
things
ago.
you just have to try until somebody bucks you, and then you'll
Well,
find out later.
I can't see any, industrial park going in there in the next 5 years. I don't see anybody knocking down your doors trying to give you any kind of an offer like we offer.
The only thing, just by reading through this, that before I would agree to it, I would like to see put in here is that due to a termination, especially on you all's side, that the ground would be put back to, original circumstance.
Right, that's what I was thinking of.
We
See
can
it
put
back
that in.
inside.
We wouldn't want you walking off and leaving us a plowed field with nothing on it,
Yeah, well, I would agree to something like that too.
And I mean, vice versa, I wouldn't expect us to void your deed if you got 30 acres of prime corn sitting there either, you know,
Right.
I mean.
Right.
And I see you got in here at the end of your harvest, so that
Yeah.
kinda covers that part of that.
Like I say, this is a proposal we bring before you today. And, I'd really like to do business. Is there any way I can get on the agenda would it be too soon for next meeting? Without
When you
allowing
all
you
make
enough
that
time?
economic development authority meeting?
It will either be the 15th or the 22nd. And I'd say it's the 15th, but I'm not sure. I haven't been notified. Okay.
Would it be better to wait till the first meeting in February then? And then that would give everybody a little bit of time to,
Okay, I think that would probably be the best.
cause I think that would be the best place to go to try to get a definition is through the development
Okay,
authority.
now,
And I
get
can
this
talk to
clear.
him in the beginning and see.
I'd really like to get this clear. is depending on whether farming is agricultural is
Economic development.
economical development.
I
And
mean,
also-
that's the
also,
one thing that I think we need to settle for sure.
Okay, and also the reading of the wetlands, which is considered wetlands and which ain't, and the language in there about broom sage or whatever grass
Manor
is
grass, I
growing.
think's what they call it.
I mean,
So you're welcome to come in and look in these books and, you know, that information's in those
I
studies.
think you have to give us the FSA
You're
office on the
welcome to have
wetland
copies
part
of
of it.
and they would probably have something on that endangered grass or
They
something.
may have.
Because
Yeah, I mean, that's-
I am no attorney, as far as reading that, I don't know what they're gonna say about grass or whatever. If I did read
Well,
it,
I
whether
think
they're-
it,
Well, I would think we could get between the tax office and the prosecuting attorney's office, whoever, and come up with a map as to what would be developable and what's not.
And with the FSA.
back in
right.
2007,
But it,
I
the
actually
first
wrote
thing is
a
for the
letter
farming is
to the
economic development.
Historic
Some years it
Preservation
is.
Office
That's what-
and asked
you know.
them to send us some writing about this grass or something about it being on the National Register of Historic Places. I don't think I ever got a response. I've called down there and they've made a couple comments, you know, just over the phone, but I don't think we ever got anything in writing from the Development Office, or Preservation Office, I'm sorry. But you, again, you're welcome to copies of all this. It may help you, may help all of us, you know, understand it better.
One thing would help me if you would get some references in that community about what you're proposing and get some positive feedbacks from those people up there, some of the neighbors around that property, and see what they think about it. Because you know how that property's been in the past.
Well,
I mean,
I
You
hate
can
to-
fill the room up
I
real
hate to
fast.
stick
Right.
my foot in that one.
right, so if you could get some
I mean,
positive references up there in that, around that community.
I'm sure that what we're proposing wouldn't be anybody that I know of would,
You never know.
yeah. I mean, would they rather see broom sage growing out there
Some
rather
would.
than a crop?
Some people would.
But,
That's just my thought.
so what, you want me to go get some input on it?
I think it'd be a good idea and bring that back and see what people up there think about that project. If it's agreeable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the difference in your prices per year I'm taking it here for your lease. And I'm assuming that as years goes on, you're planning on upgrading it and doing different things with it. So I'd kinda like to see a plan